Hello, welcome to my channel, and I would like to just talk about YouTube and the world in general. Number one, YouTube. What's going on with YouTube? There was a shooting in the YouTube headquarters last week. 3 people injured. The shooter killed herself by gun, and why? We are told that it's because she was angry with YouTube's current monetization and demonetization policies. Probably a bit of an extreme response to injure or to try to kill people and then to kill yourself because your earnings have gone down. A little bit over the top. There might have been other ways to achieve freedom from whatever pain you were feeling. Anyway, that's stupid and obvious. So, what is going on with YouTube? YouTube I see as being a very democratic tool. Millions and billions of however many people who are on YouTube have a voice, have a platform, have an audience, have some influence over other people's entertainment choices and other people's minds and their opinions and stuff. So we go to YouTube for various different reasons. You know, we go to YouTube to learn, we go to YouTube to be entertained, we go to YouTube to laugh, which is the same as entertainment, I suppose. We go to YouTube for just, I don't even want to try and describe why we go to YouTube because I don't really know. Many different reasons, many different motivations that we go to YouTube to watch, and many different reasons why we go to YouTube to create. However, the fundamental nature of YouTube is voice giving. It's a vocal thing, you know, it's a platform for voicing expression, opinion, information, feeling, you know, mind, body, everything. It's a portal to connect and to communicate from one person to another and one person to a group of people. So we know this. So it's democratic in the sense that everyone who is on here has a voice and has a say, even if it's just they want to say what they have to say. And anyone with the startup requirements, a camera and a way to upload and an internet connection, can do that. So it's not fully democratic, it's not as democratic as air. You know, most people, almost everyone in the whole world has access to air. So that's very democratic in that, you know, each person in the whole world has some kind of air that they can breathe, and if they don't have air that they can breathe, then they're going to die. But yeah, YouTube is not quite that available to everyone, but it is still fairly available. Then we have a problem with YouTube in that the way that videos and our individual voices are dispersed to people is via this centralized structure, which is the website itself. So YouTube's servers, YouTube's rules, YouTube's monetization protocols, YouTube's flagging system, YouTube's comment system, the whole website is obviously fundamentally controlled by the terms that YouTube sets. If YouTube, the company, dissolves, then the website and all our content is under threat, obviously. If YouTube suddenly decides to change all its rules, as it has done recently, then every video that transgresses against those rules is under threat. So the problem with these two things is that you've got loads of individuals who are making content from their own selves, from their own knowledge, from their own research, from their own creativity, from their own insight, from their own being dickheads, from their own stupidity, whatever it is, they're creating their own content and uploading it. And then we have a centralized system and a centralized company of control that is mitigating between individuals and their audience, and also the individuals and advertisers, therefore money. So it's all a bit of a mess, because the independent creators don't have a say in how much they get to charge for their content. So in the normal world, if you like, you create a business, you create a service, and you are able to set the price of your product to the world depending on what the market will bear and what you want to achieve, and the in between, the how much you can get away with kind of thing, how much you think is fair, and what you need to cover your bottom line and all this stuff. But fundamentally, it's your choice as a business owner or as the company as a whole as to what you set your price at, and therefore you are in the driving seat in terms of your finances, at least to that degree that you have a decision to make about what do you charge, and what's your pricing structure, and what do you charge for what, and what your add-ons, and how does it work, and how does that affect you, and all this stuff. So you're in control of that. That's the whole point of business, right? You are an interface between a set of goods or a set of services, and you're providing a set of goods or a set of services to a consumer, and they are paying for it, and you're receiving the money, and blah, we know how that works. But with YouTube, it's very different, because as a creator, we don't have a say as to if we're charging for anything. We can't charge on YouTube for anything. We are at the butt end of the deal, because all the rules are made by an external force, which is YouTube itself. So because the nature of the platform is that this is the biggest video website in the world, that if we want to engage and get the audiences that we can with YouTube, not that I have, but people do, if we want to engage and get these these audiences and the money from that, we have to subscribe to, as in be governed by, the YouTube rules, which is a very strange business model, because it's like you have absolutely no say. You have say about your content, but then you may also have to change your content depending on whether that fits within YouTube's guidelines and demonetization protocols and things like this. So it's very strange, because it's on the one hand very democratic in that you have the opportunity to say absolutely anything you want. On the other hand, it's being still controlled and censored by the way that the system works. So you're being censored to some degree if you can't swear and if you can't post about certain topics. So it's bizarre. And also, just as a business model, you don't have much control as to setting the boundaries for your business. You can't set prices. You can't set gates of pricing structures. So, you can't say, right, if you're a subscriber, you pay $1 a year, or if you're a subscriber, you pay $5 a year, or you click on a video, you pay 5 cents or something every time you click on a video, or depending on the length. We don't have any of this choice whatsoever. Whereas in another field, for I don't know, let's say you've created a small corner style cafe, you get to set the prices, as in a local cafe type of thing of your own making. You get to set the prices based on your costs and your profit margin that you want to get, and whether the market will stand that or not. And for us as YouTube creators, I can't say, right, you must now pay me, the bill for this video is $5. It should be kind of like that, because I, as a creator, am providing something for you from my own self, it's information or it's opinion or it's some kind of value that you're watching it. And it's like you go to a movie, right? You go to a movie, you expect as a moviegoer to pay to see that thing. Whereas as YouTube consumers, we consume freely. We consume it as it's free. It's free for me to watch the next video. It's free for me to click on PewDiePie. It's free for me to click on the CNN channel. It's free for me to click on Philip DeFranco. It's free for me to click on, buttmunchers.org YouTube channel, if that is a thing. Anyway, the point is that that's free, and maybe it shouldn't be free, because this is a very strange business model, and I don't understand why we have tolerated this as creators, to be giving our stuff away. Basically, we're giving our content away to YouTube and say, please advertise on my channel and please hopefully bring money in. And now YouTube is setting higher restrictions on, you have to have 1,000 subscribers or whatever in order to earn any money from it, in order to monetize your videos and stuff. And this just doesn't work in the normal way that providing a goods, providing a service or a product of any kind would normally work in a business model. Like, you go to the shop and say, I want a laptop, but I don't want to pay for it. What? No, I just want to stick advertising on it, and then like the advertising pay for my laptop. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense. And I don't know why we feel as consumers that we shouldn't have to pay for what we receive. So, because it's broke. This whole thing is broke. It's just a broken value system, All right, if you want to put out content for free, then you want to consume content for free. Fine. But when it comes to the point of some people are giving value that in another context would be rewarded with finances, with money, then it's like, this really doesn't work at all. This whole thing just does not work. It doesn't make any sense. Like, back to the coffee shop example, you go into a coffee shop, they are going to ask you to pay for your coffee before you get to drink it. And in a restaurant even, they're going to ask you to pay for your meal at the end of the meal. You're going to have to pay for that. Whereas with YouTube, you watching this, you haven't had to pay for this. And I physically cannot demand that of you either. There's no gate. There's no gatekeeping going on. I can't keep my own gate. Does that make sense? So yeah, it's just a weird thing. And if there's some way that we could create more of an infrastructure to allow for us as creators to be the gatekeepers of our own content and our own finances, then that would surely make more sense. So maybe it would be the case of, like, let's say YouTube had a rental system. So we are here to rent a bit of space on YouTube's server with access to the platform of YouTube, which has the search engine of YouTube, and therefore the possibility to reach many different people, and that infrastructure is already well established, so that works. So if we as creators are working on a rental basis, so we rent our space from YouTube, and then we get to decide how we monetize our own work, our own goods, yeah? So YouTube is there providing the service as a platform, which is what it is already anyway. And we get to set the limitations and boundaries on what we are doing, because realistically, that is where the boundary is anyway. YouTube's rules apply after the fact. So if I say go fuck yourself in this video, YouTube has to apply its rules after that fact has happened. Like, in the moment that we make our content, there is no restriction on what we do, because it's our freedom to say what we want to say, to create what we want to create. Okay, that is like, no one else has any jurisdiction over that, apart from if we're breaking the law and the police find out or whatever, and that's a whole different thing. But yeah, so it's just like, I don't know if I can get it, it's weird. So if you were to, for example, have your channel and you set your rules of entry to your channel, like, okay, this is an over 18s channel, for example, you know, we can have porn, we can have swearing, we can have just, I don't know, gross stuff that is not suitable for under 18s, whatever. I don't know what people want to put on their channels. I just want to be able to say cunt and pay and be paid for that, you know. Cunt. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, but if we as creators were able to set the boundaries and set the limitations, so we don't want people coming in of this, I don't know, we say, look, this is what you're going to be getting when you come to our video, so fuck off if you don't like that, and you can't come in unless you pay a certain entry, and it could be small, it could be high, you know, we get to set that, and we get to define our own parameters, right? I mean, it's just ridiculous that there's this, so we get to create what we want to create, but then rules and systems and all this stuff is imposed on top of us afterwards. You know, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. So that's number one, YouTube. I think the system is not working for us as creators. I just think it's not working, and I think YouTube needs to drastically shift itself up, radically change it. And then, so the whole Patreon thing, there's this Patreon trend going on as well, where it's all about donations, and people are getting sort of, people are watching YouTube and then getting payments from Patreon, and it's all very, no, as the creator, you do not get to set your own boundaries. Like, it's all very much like relying on, I don't know, the goodwill or the donation of other people, whereas realistically, in a normal business scenario, you as a business owner get to set your parameters. This is the product, this is what you pay for it. There might be discounts and stuff, but I get to set the discounts, right? That makes sense. So I personally have a belief that YouTube is dying and will die, and so I'm hesitant to actually try and promote myself on YouTube anymore. Anyway, I never really got into promoting myself, but I just feel like it's not the right way to go. I don't believe in advertising either. I think that this is another problem with this model, which is it relies on advertising for us to generate our incomes, which I don't want adverts on my channel. I don't want adverts to be the way that I make my money. I find adverts annoying. I find them manipulative, and I find they are a destructive force in general, because they're creating needs and desires in people that are misleading and don't actually bring the value and the happiness that they suggest that they will. So I feel advertising goes against my sense of ethical integrity. You know, I don't like advertising. I think it's a corrosive force in the world. I don't mind telling people information about products and what they do and what they are, but the advertising, in the inflation of value, advertising inflates the value of products, and it creates suggestions that you're going to be a certain kind of person and you'll be perceived in this way and you'll feel this way when you're using the product. Whereas the reality of the situation is you always have your own personal response to a product, and the product may work for you, may not work for you. You know, I don't like advertising. And I don't agree with it as a thing. I think that advertising is a very negative force in the world, and therefore I don't want it on my video. I don't want to be earning money from advertising. I want to be earning money because people have come to my channel to gain the value that my channel provides in itself, I want to get the money and the reward, that financial reward for the value that I have provided. I don't want to get money from some whack system because advertisers have felt that it's okay, and YouTube have felt that it's okay to put adverts on my channel, on my videos, and then the advertisers are paying YouTube, and then YouTube is paying me like 1 cent per 1,000 clicks or some bullshit. I want to say, if you click on my video, you who have decided that my video is worth clicking on are going to pay me 1 cent. I think that's nothing. It's fine. So, and therefore it also puts us as consumers in a more responsible position with our consumption as well. Maybe we'll start making better choices. We'll stop wasting so much fucking time on YouTube if we have to pay for it. So, yeah. So that's YouTube. I think it's dying because I don't know why I think it's dying. I still haven't figured this out. But there was a shooting there. As I said earlier on in the video, there's a shooting and then there's all this demonetization, and it's just, I think people are having enough. We don't want it to be this way, and I don't think it works anymore. It worked for a while wherever it was like new and stuff, and now it's 10 years old and it's not working. It's not working anymore. Yeah. Anyway, so that was that one. Now the second point I want to go on to is just the world in general. But I think I'll save that for another video, because I just want you to have this YouTube discussion as one thing in itself for you to think about. What would you prefer, for example? How do you think it should be? If you're a creator or if you're a consumer, how do you think it would work best? This creation of video, creation of content, and consumption of content, consumption of video, watching videos, like consumption. I mean, like, this is not working for me as a creator, because if you've clicked on this video, in a normal scenario, the work that I do is paid on the basis of the value that it renders, or based on the time that it takes, right? This is some whack system. Let's say I've done 22 minutes of work here, okay? In a normal working environment, I would be paid pro rata on that hourly wage. So what would that be? I don't know, depending on my hourly wage, it would be $3 or something for 25 minutes work. And I'm not going to be paid jack. And it's only if my video meets the right requirements and stuff that my work is recognized, which is fucked, right? This just makes no sense. It makes no sense, because people who are watching, you people, still get the value from whatever it is that I'm saying, yet I don't get the reward in the way that a normal business transaction would. So it's like, you drink my coffee and I go, I have no way to charge you for that. And it's like, yeah, go and have my hard-made salads. yeah, crack on, rape me for my salads. You enjoy those salads, and I have no way to charge you for them. So yeah, and I think it's unsustainable. It's not going to work long term, because it's economically does not work. Okay, so there we go. So how do you think it should be? What other ways could we work this situation out? So how could we monetize our content? And is it that we need new infrastructure? Do we need like another website that is just a plain and simple platform that's much more neutral, that doesn't involve censorship, that doesn't involve monetization from a centralized body? Is it more of a way to direct contributions? Because the point I'm making actually is, there are already these other types of sites where you can charge for content. That's going on. There's loads of them, but none of them have the bigness of the audience that YouTube has. That's the point, right? The point is, I could set up my own little website saying, you pay me $5, you get this video, just like some homemade porn site, right? I could make my own homemade porn site. This is giving me ideas. I could make a homemade porn site where you have to pay $5 to watch me jerk off in the corner over there. Which I wouldn't pay for that, but women would. Anyway, and gay men, they loved it. Anyway, I'm fucking my life over by saying these things. So, but imagine that. So that's a model, a way of working. But am I going to get millions of people looking at my one website that, you know, doesn't get that same traffic that YouTube does? If I could have my homemade porn site on YouTube, yeah, babies, that's what I'm talking about, because everyone's on YouTube, everyone's looking for stuff, and it's more likely that I'm going to be found to be jerking off in the corner on YouTube than if I put my little penis videos for $5 a pop on some crappy little website somewhere in the backwaters of the internet. Right? You get me what I'm saying here? It's like the ability to charge for content is already available. We can do that. But where are the sites that are the big ones that like put us in the possibility and in range of big audiences where we can actually make a sustainable living? As I say, like if I find 5 people watch my homemade porn for $5, 5 people over the course of a 3-year period, that's not a sustainable business model, right? But with YouTube's infrastructure and the reach that YouTube has, I could be making, you know, $25 a minute for my homemade pornos, which I don't actually have any yet, but it does give me ideas. So, pardon me, that's the end of YouTube rant. Maybe just fuck YouTube. Maybe I will just make my own website of me jerking off in the corner. You're gonna have to pay for that shit. Alright, so I'll see you guys later. I mean, you'll see me later.